was that. So next off, we have your workshop, which was 84. And I think no one answered to this one. Yes. So what did you say? I want this deck to be constantly popping creatures in and out of the graveyard, especially utility creatures like Rexage. I need help cutting the last 21 cards. I'm too attached to each of them, I'm struggling to cut pet cards. So now nobody was listening to this one, so let's have a look at the cards. Well, it's already an Architect deck, well, great. Okay, first of all, did you ever get any value out of Warm Harvest? Because I included it in so many decks and I never got any value out of it. Also, you don't want Gift of Immortality. Gift of Immortality is just bad. Even if... Okay, so let's just... Unless you have Artifact Recursion, but even then. Let's just get this deck in edit mode. Copy deck. I must be logged in. I am logged in. You're lying to me. Okay, that explains something. So yeah, I can... so from my experience, Worm Harvest really never does it. But let me have a look. So your sack outlets are great. So Ashnod's Altar is great. Carrion Feeder is okay. Viscera Seer is just ridiculously OP. Altar of Dementia is okay, especially if you want to mill yourself. Now, considering Blessed Respite, let's put this one to out. Well, you can play a Fog and it, well, it is Graveyard Hit, so I'll leave it in for now. Graveyard Hit is always nice. Whenever a creature is put into graveyard from play, that creature's controller may draw a card. This one is super risky, so unless you're playing a sack-heavy deck, I probably wouldn't put this in. Grim Return. Choose target creature card in a graveyard. It was put there from the battlefield this turn. Put that card onto the battlefield under your control. So this one is just a really expensive. What was your budget? 60. Wait, so just to clarify, do you want the entire deck to cost 60 euros? $60 at the end? No, it's already 430. Guardian Project, not really so far. I'll have a look on. But Guardian Project really is. So let me just... Okay, let me just sort this one out. So this one is basically removal. This one is bad. Because it is likely to help your opponents as much as it does you. Yeah, no, this one is also just bad. No, it's not really bad, but it's, yeah. Grim Return, I don't think this one is going to make it. So, creature. I hope there are more than just, yeah, there are more than just those for creatures. Invigorate combos with Devoted Druid, which is the only reason it's in there. Yeah, but does it really combo? So it's basically, if you have Devoted Druid, this is a mana ritual for 4 mana, right? So it's a free way to gain 4 green mana. If you have another card of your deck. One time. So I don't really see this, to be honest. I think there are better ways to increase the power. What, it's not a base stuff? Oh, yeah, that's better. Okay, glad we agree. Now, Izoni is fine. Now, I already talked to you about a Crucible of Worlds. You have it on a stick. So Izoni is not great, don't misunderstand me, but he is a sack outlet, so Izoni is really just fine. Safi Eric's daughter. Sacrifice her when target creatures opponent. Okay, yes. Landfall whenever that enters the... So this one is not going with your theme, so we'll cut it. Whenever another creature dies or a creature card is put into graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, a creature card leaves the graveyard, deals 1 damage to each opponent. Yeah, no, that one is not going to be impactful. At least unless you are... Maybe I may reconsider some of the bad cards when I get an idea of what your deck actually wants to do. But at the moment I don't see this. I also don't see this one. This is just not impactful enough. Pay to life, target creatures gain. Whenever you lose life, draw that many cards. Yeah, that one is fine. So Profane Tutor is fine. Scheming Symmetry is fine. Unmarked Grave is fine. Let me just see your commander again. Do you have... I didn't see any counters so far. So maybe if I see counters, I will accept this. But at the moment I didn't see any counters. So yeah. Now for the tutors, you may want to go with stuff like... No, I don't want to leave the sides. Thank you very much, Architect. So for tutors, there are two that you are missing. The one is N2. So this one's quite nice. For 1 mana, it's basically what Unmarked Grave is. It's also a bit pricey. So I will just put this in the maybe category. The other one is Buried Alive, I think. Buried Alive. So this one just search for 3 mana, so 1 more than the Unmarked Grave. It searches the library through up to 3 creatures and put them into the graveyard. So this one is really tutoring for 3 creatures, so it's quite powerful. Considerations. Let's just put this to considerations. So Buried Alive is really something that I would play in every deck that's really graveyard focused. Also, okay, since you're playing Obok, I hope you're... So another card that you must be playing is Filth. So in case you don't know, Filth is part of the cycle, and Filth says as long as Filth is in your graveyard and you control a swamp, creatures you control have Swamp Walk. Now, since all of the lands of your opponents are swamps, thanks to whatever, thanks to Obok, and again, who's not running black, so many people are running black, this will lead you to basically being unblockable for all of your creatures. So this one is great. There are more of this cycle, so we have Brawn, which is nice, but not as good as Filth in your case. So Brawn just gives all of your creatures trample as long as you control a forest. Hi there, I'm Brady P. And there's another white card, let me just look it up. White, Filth, Brawn. I think there are even 2 white ones. The other one is not it. Here, Wander, it is Wander. I found it funny that people say, yeah, so Wander. So Wander can also be nice. Wander is choose a color, and creatures you control gain protection from the chosen color until end of turn. Activate this only if Glory is in your graveyard. Yeah, so you probably also want to get Glory in there. Paying 3 mana to just get protection from any color is quite potent. Glory. So let's put this one in. So this can save you from removal spells and everything. So just put it straight up into your graveyard and forget about it. I'm happy to hear that you're learning of new cards. So while you two are here, let me just show you my absolute pet card that's not able to fit in this deck. Let's go for Strifefall. And I don't know if you know a couple of cards from the Judgment cycle, from the Judgment set. They are called Advocate. So there are a couple of Advocates in the game, and all Advocates function the same way. You tap them, then you get 1 or more cards off your opponent's graveyard back into their hand, and you also do something else. So in this case, this one is really my favorite card, Shield Mage Advocate. Return target card in an opponent's graveyard to his or her hand. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to target creature or player this turn by a source of your choice. Now note, this is not targeted source, so this can even prevent damage from a hexproof or shrouded source of your choice. This is the first great thing. The other great thing with these cards is, imagine you have a problem on the board. You're probably not the only player that has a problem with the problem, but someone else maybe has too, and they might have removal in their graveyard. So now you simply tap this one, give someone else the removal back. They will need to spend their mana and their resources to get rid of the problem for you. you didn't spend anything but simply tapping your creature, and you could prevent some damage to either yourself or someone else for some political gain, or you just don't prevent any damage and you say, this forest is not dealing any damage this turn. And yeah, so I really like the advocates. There are a couple more, some are worse, some are better, but the shield mage is really my favorite of them. And yeah, I include them in almost every deck because I just like them. So yeah, that's just a card cycle that I like that I really like. But it's not for your deck, that's just, I just remembered it because you said you were learning about new cards, because I've never seen anyone but me playing them in Commander. So, let's go on. Now, I can see why you have American Pilgrim here, Devoted Druid. No, wait, I think we were Tutor. So, right, Profane Tutor is fine, Scheming Symmetry is fine. Now, I say Scheming Symmetry is fine, but this is really only true if you play politically. If your group is open to politics and you can again get someone else to get a removal from their deck, and you can make a deal with them, it's fine. If your group is just everyone fights for themselves, really get this card out because it will hurt you more than it will help you. Now, Unmarked Grave is great, it's just a Graveyard Tutor, so it's worse than both Buried Alive and Entombed, but it's still good because the effect is just good. Wishclaw Talisman is also fine. Again, Wishclaw is only fine if you can make any deals with your other players. And now you'll have to give me a second and I will need to get something to drink. Now, if you have a really political friend, you might want to recommend him this card. I hate this card. I hate this card's name. Here, Feldergriff. Now, this one is quite fun. It's a legendary creature in Bund colors. And for green, it gains Trample. And another target opponent may put a 1/1 green hippo token into play. So basically, you give another player something to jump block. For 1 white mana, it gains flying until the end of turn, and an opponent gains 2 life, so you can give someone else life. And for blue, you return it to its owner's hand, and an opponent may draw a card. Now just note that you can stack blue, so you can activate blue 5 times and then return it to the hand, and the opponent still will draw any cards. Since the return is not in the cost, but in the effect, so it's behind double point. That's important to note here. Usually returning something to your owner's hand... wait, is it in the cost usually? So yeah. So this is just a really political card. I built a politics deck around this card once where I was just making deals left and right, but it was only possible because our meta is heavily enforcing deals. So I think we had a deal broken once and the player never got another deal because nobody would trust him for weeks. So yeah, this one is a really fun commander to build a political deck around, but that's not what we are actually looking at the moment, right? So we'll just go back to your... This is not your deck. This was the deck that I was doing before. No. Where did I put your deck? Here's your deck. Great. So, let's go on here. Now, I can see why Averson's Pilgrim is here. Probably... So, again, this one is just not going to do it. Devoted Druid, put a -1/-1 counter. Yeah, this one is... now I see why it does combo with Devoted Druid. Yeah, so you could... I might need to change my mind on Invigorate. We'll see. We'll have a look at the other cards in your deck. So yes, Invigorate could be a combo with your Devoted Druid. So basically you enchant Devoted Druid. It is now a 4/6. You put 3 -1/-1 counters on it to gain 3 green mana. Now you remove the 3 counters with Tayam, and you can do this an infinite amount of time. So yeah, this one works, and it's quite a neat combo. So let's put this into combo and see if we can make this work. Issue here is that at the moment you don't have any way to return it from the graveyard. So Invigorate, let's put it here. Now another thing that you could consider for mill is I will now show you one of the meanest cards that you can play in Commander. Mercenary Dog. Now I don't know if you know this card, and it sounds really harmless. Whenever a permanent becomes untapped, that permanent's controller puts the top card of his or her library into his or her graveyard. So this one can mill out players really, really quickly if nobody has a removal for it. Budget? Wait a moment. Is it expensive? I know that I bought them for 30 cents back in the day, Magic Card Mug, because nobody was playing them. I didn't even buy them for Commander, I bought them for a 60 card deck. It's not that expensive. Is it that expensive in Mesmeric Orb? What is the America? 10 US dollar, okay. So again, the issue with Mesmeric Orb is that if you're spending big mana, you really mill yourself out. So yeah, it's really, you really need to be careful with this card. You need some kind of backup plan to get your graveyard back into your library. So let's have another look. As I said, let's put the oh wait, we did put them into combo. Okay. Now, okay, we have Wood Elves, so they are great since you can always recur them. We have the Sacred Tribe Elder, same thing. Sol Ring is just Sol Ring, it's stupid. We can recur the Spring Bloom Druid. He will sacrifice your own lands, which is hopefully fine. Oh no, let me... Did you think of... No, you didn't. Or did you? Oh yeah, you did. Riftstone Portal, this was just a card that I was searching for. Basically, for those who don't know it, it's a land, and as long as it's in your graveyard, all lands you control can generate green and white mana, so that one is really quite neat if you can get it in the graveyard, and this deck probably can. So that one's great. Now, okay, Sakura Tribe Elder, I agree. Rampant Growth, that's fine-ish. It's really not good. So you can play Rampant Growth, but I would recommend you to play Nature's Law and 3 Wizards before it, and then you should play Farseek, and then if you are playing these 3 cards, which are all better than Rampant Growth, you can play Rampant Growth, but really don't play Rampant Growth first. So yeah. Now add 1 mana of any type and you control could produce. If there's a +1/+1 counter on it, and for 5 you can adapt it. I really think you need to get some of your counter cards out, same for Featured, because they, I mean, you can recur Featured, so this one is probably fine. How many basic lands do you run? 7, 19, okay. Okay, I will leave your ramp untouched for now, but just keep in mind, before running Rampant Growth, you always want to run the other 3 2-mana ramp cards because they are better. Now, Kitchen Finks is obviously a combo. Now, the issue with Kitchen Finks in this deck is that it doesn't work with your commander alone. So usually Kitchen Finks, for those of you who don't know it, when they enter the battlefield, they gain 2 life. They also have Persist, so if they leave the battlefield, they return to it with a -1/-1 counter. If you manage to remove the -1/-1 counter, for example, by giving it a +1/+1 counter, then it can be sacrificed an infinite amount of times. And that's it. Now to do this, you would need a card like Mikeos. And I totally did not write this one right, the Unhallowed. Yeah, this one. So this one has Intimidate, and it says, sorry, I don't know why I said it has Intimidate, this is totally irrelevant. But the Zombie Cleric says, other non-human creatures you control get have +1/+1 and have Undying. Now, Undying is the counterpart to whatever I just said, Persist. So Persist, the creature comes back with a -1/-1 counter. Undying, they come back with a +1/+1 counter. As a state-based action, the +1 and the -1 counter are... No, wait, that's bullshit. Forget what I just said. So either, here's what happens. Kitchen Fink dies, they get Undying, they come back with a +1/+1 counter, they die again. And this time they have Persist, they come back with a -1/-1 counter, you sacrifice them again. Now they have a -1/-1 counter, so they have Undying, no +1/+1 counter, and they come back with Undying, and so on. So this one is really what you want to have to get an infinite combo with Persist creatures. So now let's add them as maybe Mikaeos. Yeah, Luminous Broodmoss is also one. This one is new. So I didn't think of this one. I really skipped cards the last year, so I'm more familiar with old cards than new cards, I have to admit. Unhallowed. So yeah, any Ikora cards and so on, just feel free to tell me about them, since I have... How's this guy written? Unhallowed. this one is a consideration. And this one is also a good consideration. So yeah, Luminous Bloodmoss, I saw this card played against me on MTGO. I also want to buy this, I have to admit. Whenever a creature you control without flying dies, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control with a flying counter on it. Now, basically, if you have 3 creatures dying, return them with flying counters, you remove the flying counters, and you... Yeah, this one is quite easy to make, for you to make an infinite combo with both of these cards, to be honest, because they both give you creatures counter that you can then remove. So this one is a very good suggestion. Now, we have... What else do we have? We have Rise of the Dark Realms, put all creatures from all the graveyards to the battlefield under your control, yes. This one is just a I win card. Kind of don't like it, to be honest, because it's just... Yeah, it's basically just an I win card. Now, but that one is fine. Now, what do we have for removal? Now, I think Abrupt Decay really is something for really developed matters. Since it only destroys something with converted mana cost 3 or less. Now, if you usually tend to face combo decks that either run Thassa's Oracle or the Manic Labyrinth and so on, or any other combo pieces, Isochron Scepter, it's fine to just remove them. But otherwise you will probably have ways to do better things like Generous Gift, which is 1 mana more, and is white, but it just gets rid of anything. And also it's just destroy, not exile, so I'm split on this one. Now, Beast Within is fine. So this one is also maybe out. A certain Tuvasa. What is Tuvasa again? Ah, this one. Oh yeah. I didn't tune this deck, did I? I saw the deck online, but I have to say I rather prefer my enchantment decks to be Pillar Fort and untap with the Planeswalker from her deck. So, what else do we have? We have Fumigate, which just destroys all its creature. Yeah, this one is an okay board wipe. I usually prefer not having the life gain if I'm not that heavy on life in the deck and just have a mana less, but it's fine. No, Gaze of Granite really is quite mana pernicious. Let's have a look at this one. Now, Pernicious Deed is just cheaper and better, to be honest, if you can afford it. So Pernicious Deed is an enchantment, so you can get it back with white enchantment cards, and you can also get it back with green cards that care for permanence. And for X, you sacrifice it and destroy each artifact, creature, and enchantment with converted mana cost X or less. Now, why do I say it's better? Because obviously the Gaze of... Oh no, it's also just destroy. So yeah, it's just better. It's just better. It's not as mana reliant. So let's just put in Pernicious Deed. Since you can actually pay the mana in 2 turns, and it has 1 colored requirement less, and as I said, you can get it with cards that care for it. Now, Out of Time is fine as a board wipe. I think it's... I haven't played this one, so I can't really say anything to it on it now. Playcrafter is fine. Not that much to say about it, to be honest. Probably would play more of this stuff. No, I'm going here from a Marin perspective, and I would probably recommend you to just put Marin in here. So yeah, there are 2 more cards like Playcraft. 2 more cards like Playcrafters, so if you see them doing a lot of work, you can include them. Basically, they're both 3 mana creatures that say when I enter the battlefield, everyone sacrifices a creature. Now, Reclamation Sage is just awesome. We have Return to Nature, which is crappy. We have Swords to Plowshares, which is great. We have Vindicate, which is okay. I would probably rather play an Anguished Unmaking to exile stuff, so to exile a permanent, rather than just destroy it and pay 4 life, but it's fine. And we have a Wrath of God, which is fine. Now I wanted to say something that oh yeah, what I'm missing here is the following card. If you're playing green and white, you might want to consider Aura Shards, especially if you are planning to get a lot of creatures into the deck. So Aura Shards is quite neat. Whenever a creature comes into play under your control, destroy target artifact or enchantment. So this one will probably do a lot more than just, yeah, this one, whatever we just removed. Now we have +1/+1. Yeah, Kata's Crusade is just stupid. We can all agree on that one. We have Evolution Sage. This one lets you proliferate. But no, phasing does not trigger enter the battlefield effect. Sorry, I didn't read that. No, phasing does not make the creature change zones at all. It's just not there. If you want to have stuff entering the battlefield, you want to play, well, again, then that would also come. Ghostway Pass is great for this, Eerie Interlude, so those are, I think, the two best ones, because they really exile your creatures and then put them back onto the battlefield. I'm not really sold on Evolution Sage at the moment, so I didn't see enough counters for it, to be honest, at the moment, so I'll put this one to probably out. Felder Retreat, again, just a landfall, don't see it. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, yeah, so this one is fine, since you get a lot of Saplings to sacrifice. Another enters the battlefield, so this one is, again, nice, since you get the counters that you want to remove with Tayam. You have the Promise of Banrai. Whenever a creature you control dies, sacrifice Promise of Banrai. If you do, create 4. No. Just no. Just no. Wait a moment. It's permanent card. But Promise of Banrai is, in fact, forget what I just said. This one is a yes. I thought it was just creature card, but it is in fact a permanent card, so this one makes Pernicious Deed even better, since it is a permanent card for 3 mana, so you can get your board wipe back each turn. So what do we have here? Another card that nobody can read. Devotion, each other enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter, that's fine. Then we have Resha, she can just distribute counters and enters with 3 counters, so yeah, she's already going infinite with Tamazan as long as you have the mana. Now next up we have the Weaponcraft Enthusiast, he has Fabricate 2, Fabricate 2. This is right, now we are counting in German. I don't think this one is going to do it. And the Wing Constrictor does double counters, which is fine. Now, Recursion. First of all, please recur Shadow Trap from a dead. Weaponcraft combos. What did I miss here? Fabricate 2. He puts 2 +1/+1 counters on itself. Help me out here, what does he combo with? I mean, yes, if you have Ashnod's Altar and you have... oh yeah. That's a staying in then. Thanks for clarifying, I completely forgot the Vigilance counters here. Yes, you can see I'm not familiar with the commander that much. I'm making mistakes. So good that you're watching at the moment and you can actually tell me when I'm making mistakes. So this one is returning something, Revelag is returning something with power 2 or less, Persist is return non-legendary creature, Karmic Guide is returning something, Genesis is returning something from your GI to your hand, so this one is probably not worth it, since it's just too slow. Gaia's Will is just too slow, you don't have a way to cheat this. Eternal Witness is great as it always is. Now for Mill we have Doom Whisperer, which is great, Golgari Succubus is great, Life from the Loom, which is absolutely OP. Nyx Reaver, which is fine-ish. Perpetual Timepiece, which is too slow, I'd say. We have the Skull Prophet, which is fine-ish, but I think it's also just... yeah, we'll leave it here for the moment. Stinkweed with Stretch 5 is fine, and Underrealm Lich is Also fine, yes. Now let's have a look at your maybe cards, if there's anything that I already want to add. Let me just go over them quickly. Yeah, so Dam is probably a board wipe that I would prefer over Fumigate. From a graveyard. Okay, so this one is way too expensive. Don't do this. Yeah, Golgari Grave Troll is another great dredge card. So it was. Oh, sorry, I didn't. Golgari Grave Troll is really just good since it already combos. Even Golgari Grave Troll really is an infinite combo if you think about it, because if you have at least 4 creatures in your graveyard. Oh wait, no, you don't return him. Might have to think about this again. Let's put him back to consideration. But then again, he really has enough counters if you can revive him, but you can't revive him for 3, so yeah. Greater Good is just good. So this one is great. Grizzly Fell Savage is fine. Gruesome Menagerie is fine if you have something to combo. Wizard Mortify is just fine. Put in your graveyard, shuffle it, put an instant sorcery. So this one is a tutor, but for 4. Phyrexian Delver is another revive. Price of Fame is great. I really like this card. Now Sate Wayfinder is fine. He's early ramp and mill. Not really ramp, but at least he gets your land. Yeah, I really like to play Snuff Out if I'm in a high strength environment. I don't think this deck needs it. And we have the Gidrop monster and this one. I'm a bit torn on your land base for it. But again, let me just show you one card. Black 3 mana, 5 life, exile 2 creatures. Just so you saw the card. Because this is another nice black removal piece. You don't need it in this deck because you are playing white. BB1 exile 2 creatures. Huh. Skyfall. Will you hate me out? Black. Mana equal to 3. Exile creatures pay. Exile pay life. Now I'm a bit confused. Now I'm really confused. Ah, here it is, Ashes to Ashes. So, Ashes to Ashes, 3 mana. It's also an old card. It's 2 black and 1 mana. It deals 5 damage to you and you can exile 2 target non-artifact creatures. So this one is really neat because usually black only destroys creatures and not exiles them. And yeah, it's 2 creatures for 3 mana, so it's quite a good deal. So this one is also one of the old cards that I like to run. But in this deck you'd probably rather run Path to Exile and stuff. Now, first of all, what did you miss? So you miss Reanimator. Which is just an enchantment like Carl, no, not this one, like Persist. Just Persist has a -1/-1 counter, and the Entomb just give it, not Entomb, but Animate Dead just grants it -1/-0, and is stays attached to the creature. But again, it's not an enchantment that you can use with Tayam to revive everything, so that's something that you should consider, because it's actually permanent. So Persist is a sorcery, so you cannot use Persist with Tayam, but you can actually use Animate Dead with Tayam. So if you have Animate Dead in your graveyard, Tayam can get you back every creature in your graveyard, rather than just a 3-mana creature. So that one is quite nice. Now what you could also consider, but it is expensive, and as you can see we will need some cuts here. I mean I should just cut cards, right? I shouldn't add more cards. So I should probably leave it here. But let's just have a quick look at the EDH rec page on whether I'm missing anything there. What you could also consider is obviously Marin. Even as a card in 99, it's fine to play her, but she's obviously better as the commander. So if you don't know Marin, basically she revives 1 creature each turn. Now, I'm thinking sack outlets. Yeah, Animate Dead is here. Save Void Elite, again, would be another Persist creature for you to go infinite with. We already have those. Yeah, you should probably consider to put in at least 1 or 2 of the Solarpod Cutthroat and the Vampiric guy that deal 1 damage whenever you sacrifice a creature. So if you go infinite on the sacrifice stuff, that you can actually kill your opponent. That is a nice thing to have. The Blood Artist, this one was the other one. So I think these 2 should be fine. They're also in the 2 mana range, so you can, and the 3 mana range, so you can revive them with your commander. Spore Frog is great. Spore Frog really is a card that can lock down games, since yeah, you can just sack it and it prevents all combat damage. So if you have a way to revive it, and you have with this deck at instant speed, I think, right? Yeah, this one is not as a sorcery, so you can just revive the frog at instant speed and you have infinite fogs and frogs, fog frogs. So let's just add this one. This one is really great, and this one is one of the cards that forced our meta to run Graveyard Hate, because some players would just, mostly me to be honest, I would just lock the game down and have infinite fogs and nobody could attack me. So yeah, that's quite a neat card. There's another card that I'm just thinking of right now that is Spike Feeder, I think? No, Spike Weaver. Ah, Dread, this card is 1 mana too expensive. So it's 1 mana too expensive for your commander, unfortunately, so you would need to... Yeah, you would need to go on it. Yeah, it's just 1 mana too expensive. But I played this in Atraxa, and so basically a Profillerate deck, and you can, for 2 mana, remove a +1/+1 counter from it and put a +1/+1 counter on another target creature, which is fine. But for 1 mana, you can just fog. And as you can imagine, if you have this one in an Atraxa deck, you just got unlimited fogs again. So this one can also lock decks down if you can protect it. Now we have some Undying cards here. Now this one could be interesting, the Woe Strider. It's not perfect, since it only escapes with 2 +1/+1 counters, but it comes with a free goat. And it's also a sack outlet, and yeah, having a free goat is nice, but wait, you don't? Tayam doesn't actually sack a creature, right? No, it just removes counters. A free sack outlet is always nice, so let's just keep this one in mind. What else do we have? Jahini would be another sack outlet, so it might be, and you really need to test this, that you find this deck staffed for sack outlets. This is something that you don't usually fear if you build a deck, but yeah, this might happen because you will want to sack your creatures to have them come back. And yeah, if that happens, just consider stuff like Yahini. There's another nice card that is Forest, 1 mana sack creature target, basic land enchantment, I think. Perilous Voyage or something. Here, this one, Peril's Forays. It's an enchantment, it's 5 mana, so unfortunately you cannot get it back from your graveyard. Sacrifice a creature, search your library for a land card with a basic land type and put it into play tapped, then shuffle your library. So this one is just very good at ramping if you have a lot of creatures to sacrifice. So we have another couple of persist creatures here, which is fine. Even Mind Sensor is just a great card if your opponents are relying on combo a bit too much for your liking, which is also fine. But let's now see for Fanatical Devotion. That's really fine. You can do it. So always remember your commander, if I read him right, can return permanents to the battlefield. So you can even return this one to the battlefield. So with auto self-mill, you probably should not find yourself too starved for stuff. Now, let's go on here. Wait, this was not where I wanted to go on. Let's go on here. Or Draft Mod could be an idea, but I'm not sure on him. I already got Revelark. Do I see anything that I really want to? Oh yeah, Noxious Revival is a nice card since it's just Phyrexian mana and you can put any card from your graveyard on top of your library, so this really helps you to fetch any card that you want from your graveyard. And you can play it for free because it's Phyrexian mana, so you pay it for 2 life. What else do we have that could be interesting to you? Teferi's Protection is always nice, but probably out of budget, so I'll skip on this one. Yeah, here we have the Buried Life that I already added. Green Sun Zenith could be... Do you play Green Sun Zenith? No, you don't. You should probably want... this card is not... Green Sun Zenith is a bit expensive. A little bit expensive. I just added here anyways. Why did it get so expensive? Now let's see Bursting Pot. It's also got inexpensive. No, Bursting Pot is a really great card. I really love this card. Wait, it's not... Yeah, no, I'm just looking something for myself. No, okay, Bursting Pot is really... Oh, it got even cheaper than when I bought it. When did this card get so cheap? Damn it. Oh wait, it's better for the game, to be honest. So, Bursting Pot. Wow, it's just 4 times the price in America. Yeah, Bursting Pot is... Yeah, I think you should visit the EU and buy a ton of Magic stuff. I totally support this whenever I see American prices. So Bursting Pot is an artifact that costs you 3 mana, and then 30 mana, so it doesn't count 3 mana and 2 life. And for 1 mana and 2 life, you can sack a creature, and then search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost 1 more than the creature you just sacrificed, and put that card into play. So you can really do use this to search for the right creatures. So let's say you started with a Mana Dude. You can then sacrifice the Mana Dude when you don't need him anymore to fetch a guy that gets your land. So you can get your sack engine going, or what else do you have for 2 mana? The Winding Constrictor to get a combo going, or maybe, what else do you have for 2 mana? Yeah, not that much for 2 mana, to be honest. But if you sack something for... Oh, well, you can get a Golgari suck for starting dredging. Now, if you sacrifice the Golgari suck, you can get all the stuff for 3 mana, and here it gets interesting, I think, because here you have stuff like the Ramanap Excavator. So if you happen to find you have a lot of lands in your graveyard, you can then just search for the Excavator and start to recur your lands and so on. And Crucible of Worlds is also another nice card, especially since it's 3 mana. So we will just put those to the considerations. How many cards should I help you cut, by the way? What is Green Sun Cedar do? Yeah, it's so for Europe it is like 12 euros. Yeah, Reanimate would be another great card, especially since your deck is cheap, but expensive. Unburial Rites is a very nice card that you should probably play, since it's a Reanimate that you can play from your graveyard, because it has flashback, and it's also in your colors. Even if it's a bit expensive. On the mana cost, not on the actual price. Yeah, we wanted to add Nature's Lore and 3 Wizards. Nature's Lore and 3 Wizards. So we just wanted to add them. Consider, and we wanted to get in deck. Crap, what did I just do? Okay, I just moved them to the back. Great. In deck, no. And so how many cards do we have in deck at the moment? 101. Hey, I almost cut enough cards to actually have a deck. Now, before we add more cards, War Strider, for example. Okay, perfect. They all go to the right. Now, for your lands, you obviously want a couple coffers. If you're playing Yavmok already and you can get it back from graveyard, you want to have a couple coffers, because it's just great. The Water Druid is already in here. It's here. Oh yeah, Skull Clamp is, I think with the sacrifice theme, Skull Clamp is a must. Now Phyrexian Altar would be great, but it's really expensive. So I'm waiting to get this card. This card myself for several years now. It's really broken to just sacrifice a creature and add 1 mana of any color. It's really, really broken. So yeah. Now here's the Perisher's Deed. Here's the Aura Shards. Aura of Silence could be another nice removal piece. Aura of Silence is another of my pet cards that I put into almost every white deck, and everyone hates me for it. Because Aura of Silence for 3 mana says artifacts and enchantment spells your opponents cast cost 2 more to cast. So especially if you get this, if you start a game and you get this on turn 2 and deny everyone their mana rocks, they are really salty. And also you can just sacrifice it to destroy target artifact or enchantment, and you can even get it back. Strider, right? Strider. Now, the big question is, do you want to play as a combo deck or as a recursion deck? That's really the big question, because at the moment I think we are going towards the combo route. Oh yeah, if you want to be mean to your opponents, play something like Dictator of Erebos or Grave Pact. This will force them to sacrifice a creature whenever one of your creatures die. But this really locks the board down fast, so I think I wouldn't recommend it for your meta. I don't know, if this is fine, well, to be honest, I would recommend it, yeah. So let's just put them in. We will cut a lot of the cards anyways. Grave Pact. Okay, and now Kenrid seems like a good removal that can recur also draw. Isn't Kenrid 5 colors though? Or am I looking at the wrong creature? Yeah, you cannot put Kenrid in the deck. He has green and blue mana. Unless I'm looking at the wrong card. Kenrid's transformation. Kenrid's transformation. Ah, Silla Dawnwalker. Do you mean this one? Silla Dawnwalker. Dawnwaker, not Walker. Companion, each permanent card in your starting deck has an activated ability. Okay, abilities you activated aren't mana abilities. No, that one's not a one. The enchantment is called Kenrid's Transformation. Kenrid's Transformation costs 1G. Draw a card. Yes, but issue here is that you really need to get rid of the creature to replay Kenrid's Transformation first. And if you already spend Kenrid's Transformation on it, you probably do not want to have another card to get rid of the creature. Also, it's not getting rid of +1/+1 counters, so in this case, I'd probably just play Song of the Dryad to make it a land and not care about the creature anymore. Oh yeah, Destructive Flow, another nice card. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a non-basic land. Not really a card that a lot of players like to see, but it's great if you just played in a green-focused, only basic lands. Only basic lands. God, what's this one called? What's this plane called? I'm totally missing the... Junt. If you're playing a basic land Junt deck, Destructive Flow is so mean. Yeah, so... Okay, I think we are fine with this. What might we want to add here? There are a lot of mean cards in Magic that you probably that you probably do not want your table to know about, because they will use them against you. Now I would really... What is the wording? Okay, so I know land destruction is frowned upon, but I would really recommend you to just play a Strip Mine, because you can get it back and then you can just destroy land. So it's mean, but if you don't need the mana, just get back a Strip Mine and destroy the lands. Yeah, but probably not, since land hate is usually frowned upon. Now, Momo Bosk is another nice card that you could consider adding, since it is a tri-land that usually enters tapped unless you reveal a Tree Fork, so it enters tapped. But the nice thing here is that it is a forest, so you can tutor it up. And it's $10? Yeah, okay, so if it's $10, we'll just leave it there. So, but I should cut cards, right? Not... I think Safi's not going to make it, because she's just not doing enough. She's protection, but I don't think she's good enough at it. So yeah, just cutting cards. I would cut these, and now I've given you 27 other cards to consider for your deck, so have fun with them. Yeah, I know, that's a big issue. So you might cut one land or two lands to go. I think it's fine to go to 36 lands in this deck. So I would probably cut... What would I cut here? I think I would cut a high market, even if a sack outlet in the lands is nice. Only also not playing a Casting Wolf run. Let's just put it to consideration. So this is just a land that you can pump any amount of mana in it, and then the creature gets that much bigger. And then you just kill your opponent probably, if you have a lot of mana. Oh, right, you don't play red, right? Forget what I just said. Yeah, forget what I just said. I realized once I added the card. It's really this Abzahn at this right combination is something that's hard to get used to, because usually if you see green, I don't know, I always consider green with blue or green with red, but green, white, black is really a combination that I rarely see. Or did I think I had to? Did I ever build a deck in this? Did I ever build a deck with this? So, now let's have another look. I think Izumi Thousand Eyes is not going to do it for you. Since you want to get your creatures out of your graveyard, that's the first one. And the second one is the insects really only, well, they work with a few of these. That's green, white, X is what you play mostly. Okay, so now let's see. So Sun Titan gets all of your targets, that's fine. Serene's Reclamation also. Revel, Lark, Power 2 or less, which is still almost everything that you have. We have Persist, Karmic Guide. You have an Eternal Witness that you can get back, which is fine. Guardian Project. Now, what was your issue with the Guardian Project? Because it seems quite fine for me, to me. I mean, it is too expensive to recur, but you probably shouldn't be having an issue with not enough recur targets. If you combo, you can deck yourself easy. How did the fly get in here? Yeah, I see the issue. But then again, if you... Okay, so what is your theoretical win con? I mean, you can always get rid of Guardian Project, right? Because if you combo, you will probably have either Aura Shards in your graveyard, or you will have the Reclamation Sage. Where is he? Yeah, the Reclamation Sage in your graveyard. So you should be able to counter this, I think. I think you should be able to work around this, because you have ways to get rid of it. Even if targeting your own stuff is always weird. Now, this one put a -1. Yeah, this one just combos on its own if you have the... Yeah, this one is just great. Soldering, Rampant Growth. So again, as I said, I would consider to just put out Rampant Growth and put in one of the other ramp spells that I put in here. We have the Incubation Druid. Now, does this one do anything else than just being really expensive to adapt for one counter and... Oh wait, okay, it does adapt 3. But then again, do you want to pay 8 mana -2 because... I mean, yeah. Do you have enough to go infinite with this? I mean, Now this one is fine since it kills itself. Then again, it's really expensive. Let's make another maybe remove. Maybe remove. So Devoted Druid, Invigorate. I think I'd cut Invigorate since it's really only good for Devoted Druid, and if you happen to mill it, it doesn't do anything for you. Because you can't get it back other with Eternal Witness. And yeah, so I think I would cut Invigorate. And also Devoted Druid already goes infinite if... No, wait, it doesn't. You don't have any... Yeah, that's... No, we should leave it. It's... Give me a second. Do we have any other way for Devoted Druid to go infinite? Not really. No, okay, so this one stays in. We can get it back with Eternal Witness, and we can get... Yeah, this one is fine. Invigorate is fine. Oasis. I'm not sure if MTG. Oasis, Land, Desert, MTG. Sacrifice a desert. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. Yes, and this one is also in here. Yeah, that's fine. So if you have the Oasis in here, then I think you don't really need Invigorate, since you can get the Oasis back with Tayam. So I think we should remove Invigorate, since you have no way to tutor for it. Now Kitchen Things is fine. Yeah, you can go infinite with the sacking if you have any of your +1/+1 stuff here. You could even add more persist cards based on your +1/+1 counters, to be honest. So this one is fine. Now Beast Within is fine. Blessed Respite. Now let me think about what is the best way to get your deck refilled. Let's just look for a few cards here. Just to give you a Mill Protection Green EDH. So basically you don't want the Titans. Chaos Blessing. Titans, we don't need this. Yeah, so I think we will in fact remove this one for the Elixir of Immortality and get the Elixir of Immortality back in, because in fact you can recur this with your commander. So this one is helping you to survive. And one should be enough unless you're facing targeted graveyard hate. So yeah. Now what else do we have? We have Beasts Within, which is fine. We have Fumigate, which I would consider to removing for, since you're not really having anything that is dependent on your life. Didn't you put in Doom yourself somewhere? Am I imagining things? I think you put in Doom somewhere, but I don't find it right now. So Doom. Black board wipe 2 VV overload. Damn, not Doom. Damn. Yeah, damn. So let's put this one in instead of the other one. Now, as I said, Vindicate, I would probably go with... well, it can target land, so yeah, let's keep Vindicate. Reclamation Sage is great. Playcrafter, as I said, if you see Playcrafter doing a lot of work, consider putting in the other two Playcrafters. Out of time, you will need to test this one. I think you really don't need Rise of the Dark Realms. I think you really don't need this one, because it will be dead in your hand for quite a long time, and if you have 10 mana, you will probably have some way to get your combo going. Now, we have the +1/+1 cards. This one is fine. However, a non-token creature you control dies, create a 1/1 Saproning token, which is... I'm not sure if this one is doing enough. Then again, with all of the plus, yeah, it should be doing enough. Also, it's 3 mana, so you can catch it whenever you need. So Promise of Bure is, yeah, enough, because you can get it back. Is it a creature? Oh yeah, a creature. So you can even... Promise of Bure is really stupid. So basically what you can do is you have Promise of Bure and you have any of these +1/+1s, and then you just sack 2 spirits to, or you just sack 1 spirit to the to Ashnod's Altar, and then you activate this one for 1 mana, and then you sack your other 3 spirits and get Bure back. So yeah, this one is really going infinite quite easily. And this one is also +1/+1 counter, which is fine. She just has +3 +1/+1 counters on herself. Now, even if she has 3 +1/+1 counters, is she more than just fuel for sacking and banging in here again? Sula Port. Let's just add these two, just so you actually have a win con. Blood Artist. Not showing this card. Now the Lich. So he mills you for 2 each turn and he can get indestructible, but he's more than 3 mana. So you won't be able to get him with Tayam. Now, Stinkweed Imp is great for... So it basically has Death Touch. And it's also great for Dredge, since the Dredge is quite high and you can get it back. Skull Prophet. I don't think this one is going to do it. Shambling Shell is Dredge 3 and you can sack it and that's fine. Nyx Reaver is fine, you get something else back. Life from the Loom is great. Golgari Suck is fine. Doom Whisperer is great, and here you have your sack outlets, okay. Now what I would do is I would add Filch. Make an add here. Not that. I would add Filch. That's not a question for me. And what you should also consider, the Shadow Knight, if you start to face Graveyard Hate, you will want to include some cards that make you hexproof. Just so they can't target your graveyard anymore. Now I would include Aura Shards. I would include Animate Dead over the... Give me a second, where was it? Recursion over Persist. You have hexproof. Here, Aegis of the Gods, for example, you have hexproof, and this would already protect you. What else is there that gives you hexproof? There are a few cards, but not so many, to be honest. It's a rare effect. Here, Leyline of Sanctity also gives you hexproof. It's too expensive for you to recur. Orbs of Warding also is too expensive to recur. But yeah, basically, I think you should at least consider Aegis of the Gods. If you, so since you can sack this into your graveyard and then recur it, and then your graveyard is safe. So this is, yeah, you getting hexproof, this is quite neat. I think there's also you have Shroud. Right, I think there are... let's see if there's anything that grants you Shroud. Yeah, here Ivory Mask gives you Shroud rather than hexproof. And also Solitary. Solitary Confinement can be quite fun, to be honest. I think it was also just reprinted. So at the beginning of your upkeep, you sacrifice it unless you discard a card. You don't draw any cards, you have Shroud, and no damage is dealt to you. So if you have another engine going, you can basically say, drawing cards is not that interesting anyways, and yeah. Solitary Confinement really is a fun card, especially since you can recur it. Do you want me to add it here, just so you have it on your list? Solitary... As I said, you can recur it, so if you mill it, it's not that much of an issue. And also if they destroy it, because it itself doesn't have any shroud. Now I would get in the Blood Artist here, and I think one of them is enough since you can recur them if you got your deck empty. I would get in Glory, since giving creatures you control. But I think there's Wonder Fills. Oh yeah, I think there's another one. I think there's another white one. Incarnation. Oh yeah, this one, and this one is Purity. No, this one is not what I was looking at. Oh yeah, Modern Horizons had some, but no. No, that's not. No, not what I'm looking for. So, I would consider the Luminous Broodmoss since it is really, really good. I would also consider the Spore Frog and the Skull Clamp. I would also consider Pernicious Steed and even cut a Wrath of God for it, since it's recurable. No, I think that's fine, I think. We have removed 7, put in 9, so we are currently at... Let's just put these maybe remove cards to not in the deck. So we're currently at 99 cards. Now I think I would just remove the Wishclaw Talisman and add a Buried Alive instead. Since stuff in your graveyard is basically like stuff in your hand. Where do I have at? Filch, there's at. So at the moment we are at 41. What did you say? 60, right? Yeah, 60. We haven't at 41 American, not even 41 European. Now you said you wanted to have Solitary Confinement in there, so we'll just put it in there, I think. Solitary Confinement. Now we have exactly 100 cards, and as I said, these are all valid options to put in. There's really no way to say this card is strictly better than that card. But I think this should be... Yeah, I think we should be good. Yeah, Cabal Coffers also goes in, obviously. And for Cabal Coffers... Oh yeah, right, I said we could cut 2 lands, right? 3 lands even now, since we have Cabal Coffers. So at the moment we want to get rid of this one. This one is just bad. What else? Yeah, Temple. Let's get rid of 2 temples. And now this. Let's have a look at your land base. Let's get rid of this temple as well, and this temple as well. This is a temple garden. This one is great. Sunbattle Groove is okay. Polluted Delta is great. Overgrown Tomb is great. This one is great. This one is great. Don't you have any more? Do you have any more Shocklands at your disposal? And also more Fetchlands, or is this the only Fetchland that you have at the moment? Just consider that you can run off-color Fetchlands. So Fetchlands do not have any mana symbols on them, so you could even... you only have 2 fetches, okay. Alright, then we'll leave it at that. Obviously, you know what I'm going to say. You should consider getting Shocklands at some point in the future. If you realize that Vindicate is not doing it since they just recurring the stuff, Anguished Unmaking is basically a Vindicate. It cannot target lands and you lose 3 life, but it's exile instead, so That's also put under consideration. So yeah, at the moment we have 99 cards again. Why do we have 99 cards? We even have one land too much, right? A couple coffers. Well, okay, 36 lands and couple coffers is fine, since I wouldn't really count this one as a land, since it doesn't generate mana on its own, but it can generate quite a lot of mana if you get it into the graveyard and then put it back with your commander. So now we have one more card that we might add, right? Great. What of our considerations do we want to add most? So your average CMC is 3, that's great. I mean, if you wanted to be mean, you could go for... what? That's not really mean. It's really not mean. Cost and false. Did you know there was a black propaganda? Or ghostly prison? It's one too expensive, I just realized, to get it back. So probably it's out. Let me just recall cost and false. Yeah, so there are basically 2 more cards like this. So the black one is 1 mana more expensive and you need to tap an untapped creature. But other than that, it's just a ghostly prisoner or propaganda. And there's another one, elephant grass, which is also great. This one. So this one is just for 1 green. It has the effect, but it has also a bonus. So a non-black creature cannot attack you. So black creature cannot attack you at all. So you're completely immune from black creatures, and it includes any commander that just has 1 black mana blip. They just cannot attack you as long as elephant grass is in play. It has cumulative upkeep 1, so it's getting more expensive every time. But it's also one of the cards that I like to run just to annoy other people. Since I know my play group is playing a lot of black, and I know that Akalia can come down on turn 1 or 2 and just kill you. So if you have elephant grass, she's not coming to you to kill you. And yeah, you can really die turn 2 or turn 1 to Kalia if she's bringing a Cruel Taskmaster. So yeah, these are 2 neat propaganda-like cards that you can run if you are in desperate need for the effect, but not in the right colors. And elephant grass really is even great just if you run green, since it's just good. And you can obviously you can just play it early game. Elephant grass is something that you will need to play late game, because otherwise the cumulative upkeep will kill you. Are they even expensive? Elephant grass. Elephant grass got up a bit, so it's €2, so probably $4. Cost and falls. Oh, cost and falls got up quite a bit from when I bought it. I think I bought it for a couple of cents, otherwise I would never have bought this card. So yeah, elephant grass. Is it actually on the reserved list? Oh yeah, cost and falls is on the reserved list, so that explains that. And elephant graveyard, but not elephant grass is on the reserved list, so elephant grass might be reprinted. So yeah, there we have it. No. Did I miss anything? I mean, I probably missed a lot of stuff. I'm not sure whether or not Willis is really going to make it with the high CMC. So since most of your deck is really low CMC, this one sticks out as a sore thumb. Then again, you can reanimate it with, let me just see the recursion. Revelar. Yeah, you have to Revelar Karmic Guy combo, obviously. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Wait, where did I put animate that? There. Oh yeah, I just put it here because it's new. So 1 more card. Now, how much money do we have left? We have $20 left. Wait. No. Why would it be 49.9? This was printed in the commander deck. Yeah, okay, so it's not that expensive. Oh, balance? Did balance get unbanned? Okay, balance obvious, at least no comments. So, what do you feel is the last card you want to add? I think all of these are valid choices. I mean, you could just go with Entomb if you want to get the 60 euros full, which is always great since you can get just the thing that you need in your graveyard at instant speed. You can go with the Aura of Silence, which is great because you have some more recursion. Melira. Sivok Outcast. Oh yeah, this one. I think she's also an infinite combo with... does she combo with Druid? I'm not quite sure at the moment. Let me just... No, doesn't work. Okay. Wasn't quite sure for a second. Nope, it's actually not devoted. I think it's not working, right? Melira, devoted Druid. I think this one should not work. I think this one shouldn't work, but just let me go through a quick few rules. Yeah, it's not working. Yeah, you cannot use this. Vizier of Remedies is, I think, something else. Vizier of Remedies. I think this one is something else. Yeah, so Vizier of Remedies is obviously something else since she's not preventing you from putting -1/-1 counters on the creature like Melira is doing, but instead it is removing them. Vizier of Remedies is really a card that you could just add. Give me a second. Yeah, so Vizier of Remedies would allow you to go infinite with both Kitchen Things and the Devoted Druid. Is it expensive? Yeah, so I think just pick any of the consideration cards and you should be fine. Shadow Knight, do you have any more questions, feedback, or any more cards that you want to discuss? Otherwise, I'll just post you the deck here and be done with it for the evening. Do you have any more questions? Okay, glad to hear that. And then, you can just type exclamation mark close to close the stuff and so on and so forth. And I think I will really need to head to bed now because it's 2 o'clock in the night and I will need to work in 7 hours. So have fun with the deck, and I might even consider building this one myself. I have